Hey guys, welcome to a list of my favorite things from 2021. Now, I've seen some people do lists like this where it's very specific, like Angela Braniff, for example. I saw she has one all about makeup and a completely separate one about like skincare and that kind of thing, which is great for her, but that's a little bit more detailed than I'm gonna go. I have just one list of very random favorite things from 2021. We're talking everything from like a kitchen gadget to a productivity app to a memory making thing to a season. It's broad, but I like looking back. 2021 was a really hard year for our family, a lot of up and downs, especially in the whole foster care realm of things, or because of the whole foster care realm of things. And it was really good to sit down and think about some of my favorite things from 2021 because it made me realize it wasn't, even though it was hard, it wasn't all bad. There was a lot of good in the year. And so welcome to my very random list of my favorite things from 2021. And I probably forgot some, but here's just the ones that came out to my head first. I'm actually going to go completely out of order on my list here. Actually, I want to start by saying YouTube, because I started my first channel, my booktube channel, at the very end of 2019. And then I used it all of 2020, but 2021 I feel like is a year like I finally felt like I got my footing as far as YouTube. And that just means I felt more comfortable. I started some other channels, this one included, and I just really enjoyed the community and everything that YouTube brought to me. I started watching a lot more YouTube. Prior to 2019, I pretty much had never really watched videos here, and this last year we got a premium YouTube premium membership for our family because Jared even watches more YouTube than I do, and I enjoy the whole no ads thing. As someone that's a creator here, YouTube ads are great because that gives me money, but also YouTube Premium, if you have a YouTube Premium membership, that also pays creators, so it works out either way. And I feel like YouTube has given me so much, especially in such a hard year like this last year. It has been really good to have this community and people supporting and praying through hard times, and I really appreciate it. Okay, now I'll try going through my list in the correct order. Let's continue on with a random kitchen gadget. This is actually one we got a few years ago, but I feel like we really hit our stride with it this last year, and that is the air fryer. I know quite a few people have been getting some now in pretty much since Christmas and kind of are new to the whole air fryer world, and I want to say welcome. This is a great place to be. I love our air fryer. Like I said, I think we got ours probably the end of 2020, and we use it all the time. My absolute favorite thing to do in there are crinkle cut fries. We have gone through a number of different brands, and we have found that for us, what works best is the like Superstore no-name brand. It is really good. It's like the cheapest fry you can possibly get. Crinkle cut, no oil added, just a bit of salt in the air fryer is perfection. But we also use it for tons of other things, especially warming up leftovers like pizza. It doesn't get like all soggy and stuff. I like to use my air fryer a lot. Okay, let's talk about a productivity app. Since the summer, I have been using an app called To Do, and all it is so simple. It's pretty much just a daily to-do list. You write your to-do list, and as you go, you cross things off. They have this cool little feature where you can enable the option to see a flying cat go by when you cross something off, which, I mean, I like that kind of thing. And as of like the last month, they also have acknowledged that not everyone is a cat person, and you can also, instead of a cat, have a flying dog, which, I mean, I don't know why you would do because cats are way better, but I like the flying cat option. But one of my favorite things about this, while I love paper and pen and writing lists, my favorite thing about this app is anything you don't get done today, it automatically moves over to tomorrow. So even though many days I overthink what I can achieve that day, it doesn't matter because I can just drag it over to the next day, or it automatically drags over for me, and I'm not going to forget something that I wrote down. I have really been enjoying this app. I do have the subscription. I think you can use it for 30 days for free. And then with a subscription, I got the year, and it ends up being like $3 a month. So it's pretty much the cost of like a notebook a month. I found it really works for me, and I like that it also has an app on my phone, and I use it every single day. Okay, let's talk about a bit of a community thing right now. One thing I have really enjoyed this year is pen pals. This is my first full year having a pen pal, or I don't know how many I have, like 5, since I was a kid. And I was a terrible pen pal as a kid, but one of my goals for 2021 was to reply to my pen pal letters within a week, and with like the odd exception where it was a little over a week, I really did that. And I have so enjoyed getting to know a variety of different women. Every single one, okay, except one. All but one of my pen pals live in the States. One lives up here in Canada with me, and it's just interesting to get to know, especially like with another COVID year, even hearing some of the differences where they live and what's going on there and where I live, and just getting to know people in a snail mail kind of way. All of these people I interact with online as well, but you can get a whole different level of deep when it comes to snail mail, also while acknowledging that, you know, your information is going to be old by that point. But I've loved it. Some of my letters end up being more creative than others. During different seasons of life, they are just plain old pen on paper. Sometimes there's like a scrapbooking mixed media aspect, but it doesn't really matter how pretty it looks. I just have enjoyed talking to these women, talking about different ways we can pray for each other, and it has been a wonderful like community thing in my life, and I'm excited to continue to write them this next year. Okay, I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't mention my most purchased from online shop from 2021, and that would be Book Outlet. I mean, we all know I like books, right? You can't have an entire YouTube channel about books and not love them. But I really like Book Outlet because all the books are on sale, and if you have any kind of platform whatsoever and people are using your referral link, you get credits for free books. And I have gotten a lot of free books from Book Outlet, and it may be fueling a bit of addiction, but like it's a free, pretty much free addiction. So, I mean, like you win some, you lose some, but I love that website. I'm on there all the time looking for books that I have loved that I want to buy, or books by authors that I've loved, or books that I've heard of. Yeah, I've got a stack there looking at me that is ready for a book haul, and 3/4 or more of that stack are from Book Outlet. Okay, and then something that I have been loving this season is thrifted sweaters. I think at least 50% of my sweaters are thrifted. And one of the things I like about going thrifting and buying sweaters is, assuming they're pre-worn, which, you know, like 99% of clothing from thrift stores is, they're also already pre-shrunk. So when it comes to sweaters that you're worried are going to shrink in the dryer, generally the ones from thrift stores have already gone through that process. So when you try it on, then you know that's kind of how it's going to stay. And I just have been loving sweaters, partially because we've just been having a frigid winter, so it's kind of necessary, but I've just been loving the coziness. And if I can get that cozy sweater feeling and pay like $3 for a sweater instead of like 30 plus, I am so there for that. One thing I did a lot of this last year was going to little free libraries. First of all, like free books, and also the unknown of not knowing what you're going to find. So if you're new to a little free library, what it is it's a little box that people have made, and they've put books in, and you can take a book. Generally the idea is you take a book, leave a book, but it's also okay if you don't, especially some people that have put up little free libraries in their yard have a box of books waiting to fill those empty spaces, so it's okay if you don't always leave a book yourself. Yeah, like I have an overflowing bin of books that I'm just like waiting for more space in my little free library. But I have just enjoyed going to see, it's like a treasure hunt, because sometimes you find a book that you have been wanting to read so bad, or you really enjoyed and you wanted a copy of. So we started our own little free library, I think in August or end of the summer, and there's been a couple books that have come through that are books that I love, some that I own already and I'm excited for other people to get, but some of them I haven't, and so I've been able to even get a few out of my own little free library. And I'm constantly putting books in, books that I don't want to read anymore, books that I love, etc. And it's a really good thing for the community as well. But often I see people like driving to our house just to use the little free library. Someone the other day even like went through what was it? It was like 2 to 3 feet of snow, which I hadn't cleared yet because I was waiting for it to warm up a bit. They went through that snow to get to our little free library. That is some dedication, and that's what I like to see. Okay, while we're talking like nerdy things like little free libraries and such, one thing that I've been enjoying this winter and a little bit throughout the entire year, but has been puzzles. And back in December, I got my very first flow puzzle. I heard about this because Book Outlet actually sells them, and some booktubers were talking about them, and I love the quality. It's not like those cheap little dollar store puzzles, which I often tend to buy because I never really know where to buy puzzles, but I have been loving the quality. I love the illustrations that they have, and I've just been enjoying the ability to kind of like unplug and relax with puzzles. Often Jared and I do them together, so sometimes we do them and we're just like talking / eating snacks. Sometimes, recently this last week, we watched a Bible seminar while we were working on a puzzle. So it's been a really good kind of like unplug, unwind kind of activity. Something that I haven't talked about that I want to include in my favorites from 2021 has been my watch. I got this Garmin Lily watch back in the summer. When I upgraded my phone, I got a gift certificate and it was enough to get a free watch. And I was so excited about this one because I had heard about it before and loved the look. It has a very small band compared to a lot of other smartwatches. And this is like, I don't even know if it's considered a smartwatch. It's not overly smart. It's like a mediocre smartwatch because I love that it counts my steps and my heart rate, and it tells me if I'm sitting too much, if I'm reading for too long. But one of the things I really wanted it for was for notifications. I don't like to carry my phone with me all day. I often do because I like to take pictures randomly, but I'm terrible at hearing my phone when I'm getting phone calls or even text messages. And as someone, especially when have been fostering, we've been having tons of phone calls from social workers. I would have missed so many phone calls if it wasn't for this watch alerting me that I was getting a call. I really appreciated that. It makes me not feel as tied to my phone because I don't have to worry about missing something. If a text comes through and I'm like, okay, I don't need to respond to that right now, I can ignore it. But then I know, oh, like I heard the sound of my phone, and I don't have to be like, okay, I need to go check that right now. I can be like, okay, I can deal with that later. It doesn't need to be an immediate response. I have really appreciated that. And I also like the look of this one. I generally use it came with 2 bands. I got one that has like it's called a leather band, and I wasn't very impressed with that one. It doesn't look or feel nearly as nice. This is more of a sporty like rubber band, but it doesn't look obviously sporty and rubber, I don't think. Yeah, really impressed with this. Okay, now let's talk about a memory making app of sorts. It's a memory keeping app, I mean. But I've been using it to kind of like document what I'm reading / a little bit about the weather, and that is the 1 Second Everyday app. Previously, I had tried to use this app a few years ago, and I kind of wasn't very good at taking a video every day, and that discouraged me. And for the last few months, I've been using this app, like I said, to kind of like just document the books I'm reading and such, and then I put this, every month I kind of put it up as a reel on my book Instagram page, and it's just a really nice recap of the month. And I've been okay with, if I don't take any video for a week, it's okay. It's not a big deal. You just like pick back up where you started from. I have been tempted to purchase the pro version or like the subscription. I hate so many subscriptions though. If I could just do this like one and done purchase, I would do it, but it is an annual subscription. But then you can have multiple timelines. So I could do 1 second every day of like my books, and then also do some with family stuff. Something I'm thinking about. But I really like the app, and I like how I've been using it and how I've mentally got over the hurdle that if I miss a day, it's not a big deal. Okay, 2 more things, and these are very random. One thing that I have loved from this last year is our front yard. Now, I think it was July. All of a sudden, beginning of July, we had this idea that we should get rid of our grass. And by the middle of July, grass was gone, mulch was down, plants were planted, little free library was up. We did it all like really fast, and I love it. And possibly also I really love it because it was a drought year. We pretty much got no rain July, August, September, like no rain. So if there was ever a year to do it, this was the year. But I love the way it looks, and even when it does actually rain, then you go out and you get that mulch smell and it smells like the lake, and I love it. I'm so glad we finally did it. We have wanted a grassless front yard since we moved here, but never knew how we wanted to go about it. And it's a work in progress. We're gonna be like planting plants every year for the next while, kind of filling it in. We just wanted to get some planted so we could see what survives our cold winter, what doesn't, where we need to go from here next year, like what we all need to add and stuff. So it's gonna be a work in progress for sure, but I am so glad we finally did it, and I'm excited to see how it develops, and I love the starting look of it. Okay, and the last thing that I loved in 2021 was autumn. Yes, if this is just a season. This is my second autumn that I decided I love this season. And this last year, it was so long. Normally ours kind of starts end of August, and by like the end of September it's done, and October you've got snow. This year, it was warm longer. We pretty much had September, October, November, the beginning of autumn, and I loved it. I loved the gloom and just the little bit chillier weather. I don't know, I feel like for whatever reason, God is moving my heart towards that English weather, the gloomy, rainy, cool. It sounds perfect. I may have an app on my phone that tells me the temperature in Oxford all the time, right underneath our Saskatchewan temperature, and it always looks really good. Yeah, and so it's been cool because I always thought I hated autumn because winter came next. But it's cool to finally realize that you just like love a season. I loved seeing the leaves fall off the trees. It was wonderful. Okay, so that was a fairly long-winded favorites video of 2021, but I would love to hear what were some of your like random but like most favorite things of this last year. It might remind me of some things that I forgot, probably will, but I would love to hear about them, and I hope this gives you a minute to kind of like think back on your year and think back on some of the things that made it really amazing. Thanks for watching, guys.